Hi! In the next two tutorials I would like to talk about graphs. You probably already want to get into the statistics and discover answers to your really interesting research questions. So aren't graphs just a waste of our precious time? Well, often you might get nice results and you'll think that you have found a perfect answer to your question. However, if you haven't seen a picture, then you don't really know how to interpret this information. Graphs are a great way to summarize data if you have a large dataset. They allow you to interpret the data analysis results more easily and also compare between different groups of data. Now, when we know how important the graphs are, let's learn how to create them. To draw graphs in SPSS, we use Chart Builder, and we can access it through the Graphs, up here on the menu bar, and then we click on Chart Builder. Always in this window we click OK. We can see a dialog box now, and let's click on the bar chart to have some preview here. And let's go through the most important parts of this dialog box now. Down here we have the gallery. In the gallery we can see possible variants of each type of graph. In order to select a particular type of graph, double-click on an icon of a graph, as we did with the bar chart. You just double-click and it will appear up here. Then on the left side, up here, we have variables. The variables are listed here and they can be dragged into drop zones to specify what is shown in a graph. So, to change these variables questions to variable names, you just do a right click with your mouse and you click on Display Variable Names. And now it's much easier to recognize the variable. And now you just take it, click on it and drag it to a place where you need it on your graph. Then we have the canvas, which is the big space, the main area here. And we can see a preview of the graph displayed as we build it. Last but not least, we have the drop zones, which are the zones designated with blue dotted lines, and you can drag variables from the variable list into these zones. Let's now have a look at the most important type of graphs we will further work with. I will talk about histograms and box plots in this tutorial, and I will continue with bar charts, line charts, scatter plots, and editing graphs in the next tutorial. First of all, let's have a look at histograms. Let's find histogram down here in the gallery. So let's put it on our canvas so that we have it right in front of our eyes. And let's talk about what actually histogram is. Histograms provide a visual interpretation of numerical data by indicating the number of data points that lie within a range of values. These ranges of values are called classes or bins. The frequency of the data that falls in each class is depicted by the use of a bar. And the higher the bar is, the greater the frequency of data values in that bin. So, we have the score on the x-axis and the frequencies on the y-axis. Let's learn how to create histogram in SPSS now. We will again work with our dataset with heights of 10 participants, as you can see here on the background, and we will create a histogram displaying nationalities. This gallery has 4 icons, as you can see, representing different types of histograms, and we should select the appropriate one. But first we have to understand what the differences between them are. First of all, we have a simple histogram. You will use this when you just want to see the frequencies of scores for a single variable. Then we have a stacked histogram, and you will use this one when you have a grouping variable. Each bar will be split by a group. So for example, each bar will have 2 colors. Stacked histograms are good for comparing relative frequencies across groups. Then we have frequency polygon, which displays the same data as the simple histogram, except that it uses a line instead of bars to show the frequency. And last but not least, we have the population pyramid. It's like a stacked histogram, but this shows the relative frequency of scores in two populations, and these two populations appear back to back on the graph. Since we want to see frequencies of the nationality variable only, we will create a simple histogram. We have already the simple histogram here in our canvas. And the chart builder dialog box shows us a preview of the graph already. At the moment it's not very exciting because we haven't told SPSS which variables we want to plot, so we cannot see anything in the graph right now. But all we need to do is to select a nationality variable here from the variable list, and we need to drag it on the x-axis. To draw the histogram now, click on OK down here, and let's wait for the output. Perfect, we have the graph here. So what can we see in this graph? We can see that we had some Austrians, we had actually 7 Austrians, and then we had 3 participants which had other nationality than the Austrian one. Okay, let's go back to Chart Builder now. So we go again to Graphs, Chart Builder, click OK. And you might have noticed another dialog box called Element Properties here on the right side. And this dialog box allows you to edit various features of a histogram. For example, you can change the statistic displayed. As you can see, the default is count, but if you wanted to express values as a percentage rather than a frequency, you could select, for example, percentage here, or you could also choose any other statistic you prefer. Okay. Another type of graphs is box plots or box whisker diagrams. Let's search for them here and let's put them on our canvas. Boxplot is really useful, and it is a simple method for checking the distribution of your dataset and provides an overview of basic statistics such as mean, range, minimum and maximum. We will create an example using again our dataset with heights, and as you can see we have 3 types of box plots you can choose from. First one is simple box plot. It's a box plot of a single variable, but you want different box plots produced for different categories in the data. Then we have clustered box plot, which is the same as the simple box plot, except that you can select a second categorical variable on which to split the data. And last but not least, we have 1D box plot, and you use it when you want to see a box plot for a single variable, so no categorical variable is selected for the x-axis. We will create a simple box plot in this example. We already have it up here in our canvas. And let's say we want to display the difference between heights of Austrians and non-Austrians. In order to do that, we will move the variable nationality on the x-axis. It's already here from our previous example. And we will move our height variable on the y-axis. And now we click on OK to produce the graph. We have a look in our output. This is the resulting graph. Let's have a closer look at it. Notice that there is a tinted box which represents the interquartile range, so the middle 50% of scores. And at the center of the box plot we have the median. The top and bottom of the tinted box represent the upper and lower quartile, respectively. Sticking out of the top and bottom of the box are 2 whiskers which show the top and bottom 25% of scores approximately. And I say approximately because SPSS looks for unusual cases before creating the whiskers, and any score greater than the upper quartile plus 1.5 times the interquartile range is deemed to be an outlier and displayed as a small circle. We don't have such a case here. And Any case greater than the upper quartile plus 3 times the interquartile range is labeled as an extreme case and displayed as a star. We have one case here. The same rules are applied to cases below the lower quartile. Boxplots also tell us whether the distribution is symmetrical or skewed. If the whiskers are the same length, then the distribution is symmetrical and normally distributed. However, if the top or bottom whisker is much longer than the opposite whisker, then the distribution is asymmetrical. So, that's all you need to know about boxplots for now. In the next tutorial, I will continue with further types of graphs. Thank you for watching.